What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today it is watchlist time for game week 8. So we're going to go through 4 players in total that I'm looking to potentially bring in soon, whether it's this week, next week, or the next few coming weeks, based on recent performances, maybe injuries here or there, or potentially just upcoming fixtures as well. So there's 4 players on today's list. I've been doing this series all season, so if you have been enjoying it, please do keep giving it a like. Really does help the channel, really does help this video get out to more people. Hit subscribe if you're new around here as well. And just a quick thing, because some people wouldn't have seen the stream yesterday and thinking I'm going to get comments below about why there's no beard. Basically, I'm trying to raise money for charity for Movember. There is a link in the description below. If you've got a little bit of spare cash and you want to contribute, please do hit that link in the description below. Not only am I growing a tash, I'm also walking 10 kilometers every day and going sober in November as well. So if you want to contribute, there is a link in the description below. Otherwise, let's get into the video. So Callum Wilson up first, and I did talk about him on the Game Week 7 preview. I mean, to be fair, I spoke about most cheap strikers, but I did say Everton have conceded 2 goals in every one of their last 3 games, and bam, they just conceded another 2, and Callum Wilson scores in both. And there's a lot of reason to like him, right? So I've had a look at some of the stats. So far this season, he's on 0.48 non-penalty XG per game, which is pretty decent. So last year, as a comparison, Ings was 0.5, Jimenez was just under 0.48. One of the reasons I picked Calvert-Lewin was because of the fixtures, and all of last season he was at 0.5. So for Wilson to be at 0.48, that's pretty good. And one of the things I said about him pre-season was, would we get Callum Wilson from Bournemouth last year or the year before, where his stats were pretty good? And right now it looks like we're getting Callum Wilson from the year before. Other reasons to like him: he's an absolute 90-minute man. Okay, he came off slightly early against Everton, but it was still after 80 minutes. It's very rare that he doesn't play close to, if not 90 minutes. He's also on penalties, which is huge, right? So that 0.48 doesn't even include penalties, which is even higher when you factor that in as well. And I'm sure Newcastle are going to win a few more. Obviously, you can't rely on them, but it still does help for a player that's only priced at 6.5 million. So for me, I might need to get rid of more pay soon. I'll talk about that a little bit later, because there's another cheap striker on the list, which I know people are going to like. But also, the fixtures are decent as well, right? So even in the next 4, you've got Southampton, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. And from game week 10, so including that Villa and Palace game, you then have West Brom at home, Leeds away and Fulham at home. So the fixtures from here right up until kind of game week 14, 15 are pretty good for Callum Wilson. And I do think if you're getting someone in for that cheap striker spot, so I keep seeing people say, you should have got rid of Che Adams, you need to bring Che Adams back, you need to get rid of more pay, you need to get Bamford, now you need to get Wilson. For me, this cheap striker slot is not where most of your points are going to come from. It's not where you're going to be using your captaincy. You probably just want to keep these players in for a good kind of chunk of the season. I'm not saying you have to have them for half the season and never use a transfer on them, but Callum Wilson going all the way from kind of game week 8 to 14, 15 with pretty good fixtures, and even if he's got you plenty of points, you might want to wait until the next set of good fixtures and just hold on to him if he's doing well. It's one of the reasons that it's going to be difficult to get rid of Calvert-Lewin, because he's going to keep ticking over. And that's really what you want from these cheap strikers. So I'm liking the look of him. Always worry about Newcastle's attack. Can they keep it up? But with Callum Wilson up front, they are going to get goals this year. And maybe it'd be good if we could see Fraser get some more minutes, and that maybe that Fraser-Wilson connection we saw from Bournemouth a couple of seasons ago will rear its head again. And obviously that was a great season for both players. So really like the look of Wilson. He's already done really well this year, and he's got the fixtures and the underlying numbers to continue that going forward, I think. So Cancelo is now firmly on the watch list, right? So he's played the last 3 matches and he's done really well as well. And I've been talking about the game week 10 fixtures for Man City for quite a while. That's when their fixture swing comes in, basically. And I don't think, like, for my team, right, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but for my team, it's very unlikely I'm going to triple up on attacks. I'm not going to go like Aguero and De Bruyne and Foden, or add Mahrez and Sterling in the mix. For one, it's just very hard to kind of navigate that amount of transfers to get them in. The fixtures are very good, but I can only captain one. And I still want to keep players like Salah and my cheap strikers, and Grealish is doing really well for kind of what did I buy him for? Like 7.1 million, I think. So it's going to be hard to justify a triplet. So I don't think at this point in time, maybe in the future it'll be different, but right now, I don't think going for a Man City defender is that bad of a call. And I don't even know if I'm going to double up on City attack, let alone triple up. So I think going for a defender is good. My only concern about Cancelo is Mendy is injured right now. And when he's back, will he get straight back into the team? I don't think he'd perform that well, right? And we've seen Pep talk about fullbacks so much. And Walker is doing really... Like, Walker, I think, is 30 or 31. He looks like he's playing some of his best football right now. So he's doing really well at right back. Cancelo's not going to be playing there. So why not use him as left back, as he has since Mendy got injured? and he's done really well. Now, the only problem is we know how much Pep rotates, right? No one's going to sit here and think that he doesn't do that or argue against it. So Cancelo could get rotated. So potentially someone like Diaz for 0.1 million more might be a better bet. I don't see Diaz and Laporte when they're fit getting rotated too heavily, not to the same point as maybe a Cancelo will. But looking at those 3 games, he's already created 9 chances in just 3 games. To put that into perspective, he's also had 2 shots. Walker's only created 3 chances. He's played double the minutes, and he's had 6 shots. So Walker does look a bit better for goal threat, and we saw him score a goal against Sheffield United. But in terms of creating chances, Cancelo is far and beyond what Walker is doing right now. And Diaz, for example, for goal threat, has only had 1 shot so far, right? So Cancelo does look like the most attacking out of all of them. And Diaz is, like I said, nailed on. And in terms of kind of clearances, blocks, interceptions, the things that are going to start totting up your numbers to get in bonus points, Diaz is actually quite good at that. But I don't know, Cancelo is the more exciting one. And that fixture run's pretty good. Now, if you had to bring in a defender this week, would you be looking to do Cancelo? Probably not. Maybe if you're on a wild card because you don't want to spend that transfer down the line. The Liverpool game is interesting. I could see a tight game, right? No other team are going to want to lose at this stage of the season. If it was later on in the season, it might be a little bit different. But we could see a bit of a cagey affair, especially knowing that obviously Van Dijk is away, maybe or injured. Maybe Klopp will factor that into how they play. But at the same time, maybe Pep will be like, right, now is a great time to attack Liverpool. And obviously defensively, City have been doing really well. It's attack where they've been having problems. So I do like him. I think from game week 10, by the way, it's Burnley, Fulham, Man United, West Brom, Southampton, Newcastle. So only that Man United game is fairly tricky. And the way the Man United played against Arsenal, maybe it won't even be that bad for City. But they did do quite well against Man City last season, it has to be said. So I really like Cancelo. From game week 10, I definitely want a couple of Man City players, 1 defender, 1 attacker. And right now, Cancelo is top of the list and Diaz just behind if I want someone that's absolutely nailed on. So I'm doing my best to fit a Chelsea midfielder into my team. I started with Pulisic. I thought about going for Pulisic last week. I got very lucky about that I didn't go for him because he obviously got injured in the warm-up. And Ziyech looked pretty good when he played as well. So before that, it was going to be Werner bench, which is interesting, right? I guess they've played a lot of games. It could be that Abraham was in there for height as well, because obviously he was playing against Burnley. Maybe that was a consideration. To be honest, before I go for a Chelsea midfielder or an attacker, I still want to see in the league for a few games Ziyech, Havertz, Werner and Pulisic all play together. If they all played together against Sheffield United, let's see how well they can unlock a defence that defends really, really well. You know, how many goals will they get against Newcastle? Spurs have been playing well. Can they get a decent amount against them? I don't know if I'll be jumping straight onto a Chelsea attacker right now because the fixtures are okay, but they're not like so good that I have to bring them in. So I was quite surprised that so many people are bringing in Ziyech straight away. I know he got on the goal and assist, but he only had 1 shot in the box. He only created 1 chance. So you could say he was a little bit lucky that both things fell into place where he got points. But we know he is a good player and we know he's going to attack. And we know he's going to create lots of chances going forward. So he is definitely worth noting for 8 million and placing on the watch list. But I'm just still not sure who is the best Chelsea attacker because we still haven't seen them all play together, which is hugely frustrating. But for 8 million, you know, sometimes FPL performance and real life performance go out the window. Ziyech is 8 million. That's a really good price. Obviously, some people are going from James Rodriguez. Some people might be going up from Zaha, down from Rashford, whoever it might be, right? Maybe down from Son in a few weeks' time. And so I did really like the look of him. I'm just still not 100% sure whether he is the best. I am starting to write off Havertz more and more as the weeks go by. I know he's a great player, but from an FPL point of view, I just think Ziyech, Pulisic or Werner are probably going to be the ones, but who knows? Maybe that will change when they all play together. But Ziyech on the watch list. I basically want to get a Chelsea midfielder in. Just not sure which one yet. Yes, Bamford is finally on the watch list. I'm looking forward to the comment section already. You said you were never going to get Bamford. You said he was an awful option, etc., etc. I don't think I ever said he was an awful option. I just said he couldn't keep it up. And then he went and got a hat-trick. To be fair, he did blank the 2 games before that after I said it. And to be fair, I did say after the City game that I thought they were going to create enough chances where he might be an option. But let's be honest, the hat-trick has really turned my head. 6 goals in 6. Obviously recording this before they play Leicester as well, so he might get even more in that game. And I think ultimately one of the things I like is how many chances Leeds are creating. And I think pre-season, I listened to enough Leeds fans where I thought they could be good this year. But you've always got to be careful because no matter what you think about yourself as a fan, if you're a fan of a Premier League team, right? Because everyone will say that I'm biased about Man United. Look, I probably am at times, but I'm always mostly careful about when I'm biased towards my own team. I put Harry Maguire in last year, and given advice. So a lot of the times I won't say, if I get a Man United player, and I won't say you absolutely have to as well. I might say I'm doing this because I like Man United, I want a Man United player. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the best choice for your team. And no matter what people think, everyone's biased, right? I see Villa fans and they're always talking about, like, not always, but sometimes they're talking about Villa. I think, look, they're okay. They're probably not as good as you're making out. And you see it with Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans. Everyone's the same, right? There's subconsciously, for a lot of people, there is a bit of bias about their team. Not for everybody, but for a lot of people, right? So listening to Leeds fans, I even said it on the Fantasy Football Scout Leeds video. I said, I'm getting quite excited by the way you're talking about them. And I don't really doubt that anyone knew their team better than anyone else. But there was always in that doubt in the back of your mind is, can they actually step up and do it? Will he outthink too much and actually struggle in the Premier League? And it doesn't look like that so far. So that kind of pre-season excitement about Leeds, thinking they're actually going to do pretty well, but are they actually going to do really well? Like, I've still got that little bit of doubt in my mind. That's kind of gone now. They do look like a team that could easily finish in the top 10, given how they're playing. Can they keep that up for the whole season? Again, Leeds fans will tell you they're one of the fittest teams in the Championship. They kept it up for, 46 games in the Championship? There's even less in the Premier League this year, even though I guess the intensity is a little bit higher. And so I basically started to come around to Leeds as much as Bamford. Now, do I think he's definitely the 100% best striker to bring in this week? I don't think he necessarily is. I still don't like those fixtures, right? Arsenal, Everton and Chelsea are going to be difficult for anyone, let alone Leeds. So whether or not I would definitely bring him in this week ahead of Wilson, if I needed to get rid of more pay, I'm not sure I would. But the fixtures are very good from Game Week 12. So Game Week 12, West Ham, Newcastle, Man United, Burnley, West Brom. Only one really tough game in there, which is Man United. And given the way that Leeds play, they'll probably give them a bit of a test as well. So whether or not I have to get rid of more pay, that's probably a whole separate conversation. But I'll quickly go into it now because I'll talk about it on my team video tomorrow. I'm not really looking to chop and change this position too much. And more pay's fixtures are okay. So if Potter says he's going to play and it was, I don't know, whatever the reason was for him to miss out, then I'll probably just keep him. In which case, if I'm getting someone in a few weeks' time, it'll depend whether it's close to Game Week 10 or 12, whether I get Wilson or Bamford. But given how well he's done, given his price, he has to go on the watch list. You've got your wish, people. Give me a comment below. Let me know what you think about that. So that's it for this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the players on the watch list. Are there any ones you've put on this week who you didn't think about before that you're now either considering getting in this week or very soon as well? Like I said at the start of the video, if you have been enjoying this series, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. Give it a like just for me finally putting Bamford on the watch list and actually thinking about potentially bringing him in. And hit subscribe if you're new around here as well. Just a quick shout out to everyone that signed up on Patreon as well. So everyone that has gets up on the Legends wall. So I appreciate you all that are already signed up. If you want to check that out as well, there is a link in the description below. A big shout out to Fergus H, who has signed up since the last stream as well. So plenty of people signed up. If you want to join in on the action, there is a link in the description below. You can easily sign up. You get access to all the videos converted to podcasts, early team reveals once I've made my transfers, Slack access, WhatsApp access, extra content in the form of Q&As as well. So get on over to Patreon and check that out. Link in the description below. If you have got a bit of spare cash as well, like I said, no bid for Movember. Link for that in the description below as well. Otherwise, I'll catch you tomorrow for the team selection video. Thanks for watching. See you later all.